Someone once told me you can't do a review of a product until you get to know it.
Oh, she's not waterproof. That's for sure. Oh well. You can play pinball still.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome. It's what? Wow, it's December 15th. Can you guys believe there's 10 days? 10 days until Christmas. That's crazy. Hey, that was just having some fun there. I actually was gonna play that for another purpose, but I just couldn't help myself because it was actually pretty funny. Stringer Films did a really good job on that. I do not condone damaging or purposely destroying arcade equipment, by the way. Just don't do that. It's not a nice thing. But yeah, so I'm sorry for being a couple minutes late. I actually was trying to make coffee and then it was all a mess and nothing was working. And then I realized I didn't have any coffee ready and the thing wasn't warmed up. So I ended up making iced coffee, which this iced coffee is like this crazy concentrated coffee. So I'll probably be buzzing by the end of the show. So obviously the video is a play on Stringer's whole waterproof thing. You'll see that video again at some point, but it might surprise you in the form it pops up in. So just be on the lookout for that. But what did you guys? Have you guys been getting prepared for Christmas and everything? Is everyone ready? Like, does everyone have gifts for their family and all that? I'll tell you, one of the hardest things this Christmas is that my kids are at these ages where my son is, he's turning 13 in December. Like he has one of those like crappy Christmas birthdays where like you kind of get gypped because your Christmas and your birthday, your parents are like all wiped out from Christmas. And then, I mean, maybe it'll get better, but so yeah, so my son's 13 and my daughter's going to be 18. So the things they want are super expensive, and so they don't get much. Like they get a couple things, and they're gonna like those things because they're expensive. But I don't know if you guys have that problem. I'm having a hard time like figuring out what to put even like in my. I should be careful because. Oh, excuse me. I should be careful because kids watch. But you know what I'm saying. There's certain things that I need to provide for Christmas that are really hard to do now, just because I don't know what to get them. You know what I mean? Like I really don't. And you guys know I don't want to say what I got my son. You guys already know I've mentioned it before. He usually doesn't watch because I'm not cool anymore. Because I'm that age where my dad could care less, or where not my dad, where he could care less about his dad, which is actually kind of disappointing. I was looking at some old pictures the other day, and I was remembering about when he was little. And I was like, man, he used to, if I came home from work, he'd like run towards me like a dog would. Like, you know how dogs are excited even when you leave for 5 minutes? He was like a kid dog. He was like a kid version of a dog. Like he did everything a dog would do. Well, I mean, dogs don't wear diapers, but he pretty much did everything. All right, how to Bachelor. Thanks for the super chat. Hook your son up for his half birthday. I don't know what you mean. Did I share a story with you before? There's a story. There is a such thing as a half. Oh man, I could get into trouble for telling this story though. Let me think remind me in the chat about the half birthday. All right, I'm driving to an eye appointment, so here's your $2. Thanks, Stringer. Appreciate that, buddy. All right, Natalie says, I have an 8-year-old and a 13-year-old. The 8-year-old is super easy, but my teenager has got a lot more difficult to shop for. I know, right? So there's a story about a half birthday, but I'm pretty sure I've never told that story to anybody. So it's weird. I don't know what you mean. Elaborate on that, How to Bachelor, because there's a story I could tell about half birthdays. Oh, I celebrate my half birthday. I don't get it. What do you mean? I don't understand the half birthday thing. All right, I'm going to explain something to you guys. Oh, man, I'm going to get in trouble for this. Okay. Hopefully I won't. Okay, so my son, man, this is such a I can't tell it. Actually, it's impossible to tell. It's impossible to tell without getting into some kind of trouble. Uh, for Christmas, I want canceled well played toys. But anyways, what I was saying is they're really hard to purchase gifts for, and so I just don't know what to do. And like, I'll get back to my other topic in a minute of me not being cool. It's funny. So I want to tell you guys this story that just happened last weekend. So last weekend, under NDA with your son, yes, exactly, Game Genie, right? Michael B. Thanks, buddy. You guys know I have that storage unit filled with tons of one-ups, like ones that just don't fit in my house anymore. And I had posted that I wanted to sell the whole lot. Like I really wanted to sell all of them because I just don't have the space. And, if you guys remember, I want to do a rewind just really quick. But when I started the channel, I was literally modding a cabinet like almost every month. So imagine I was like doing a new cabinet every month. So I filled up my house super quick. There was cabinets in the dining room. There was cabinets, which Kim didn't live here yet, so that was okay. I had cabinets in the dining room. I had cabinets in the living room. I had cabinets in the spare room, and I had cabinets in like this. There's a room upstairs above the stairs. So it was overflowing. I didn't have a game room. I had like a overflowing house of cabinets. Not to mention I would also buy any newer cabinets that were coming out. So the unfortunate reality of that is that in order for me to continue to cover Arcade 1-Up, I need to push the cabinets out. Like I got to. Like that's my only strategy, because otherwise it was getting out of control. And I've talked to Justin about this before. I was like, there's got to be, and you guys may have seen the craziness in a video I did a long time ago. There was a video where I did like a house tour thing. So it wasn't a great video, but if you want to go back and watch it, Kim records me doing this house tour thing. So I guess what the whole moral of the story was there is that if I was going to continue to cover Arcade 1-Up, as part of the channel, just because I love arcades, I was like, well, I got to get rid of some of these. So basically, think about how bad the problem got, because I had one storage unit that filled up and then I flowed into another storage unit. So now not only do I have all these cabinets everywhere that I can't really play because I don't have the room for them, but I also was paying for 2 storage units. So it was crazy. So I had to do this. So basically I put this post on OfferUp and everyone wanted to I was very clear at this as what the state of these cabinets are. Some of them were project cabinets, like maybe I modded them and then I took parts and put them in other ones. But anyways, they were all like in flux. I was always switching them out and changing them. So this family reached out to me and the guy is super cool. And he's like, hey, I want to buy all of them. Now he had bought a prior cabinet of mine, so I already knew who he was, and they were really nice. I met his wife and I hadn't met his kids, but I met his wife. Super nice. So he's like, hey, I want to come and pick up those cabinets, and when I come, my kids want to come. Now keep in mind, his kids are around the same age as my son. They're super huge fans, and I was like, what? Like that's weird to me because I don't really view kids watching this. Like I don't know why a kid would want to watch it, right? So I'm like, okay, not of this. I think they watch like the modding videos and some of the other things, reviews and stuff. And so like, yeah, my son wants to come. He loves the channel and everything. And I'm like, all right. I just wouldn't think that there'd be like these kids that would love watching the channel. But the thing that I thought of then, I'm thinking, how old are his kids? Because my kids could care less that I do YouTube like at all. I think that's weird that like someone else's kids could think you're cool and your own kids don't. Like, what the heck? Like, isn't that do you guys have examples of your kids' friends liking you and thinking you're cool, and then your own kid not thinking you're cool, and then them thinking you're cool has literally zero influence on your own kid? Right? Like, why? I don't get that. I just don't get that. Well, I don't know. I guess it kind of bugs me because I wish they thought like they used to think I was cool. It really does bother me. Like, doesn't that how you guys who have older kids, isn't that really didn't that period of time where you weren't cool bother you? Like it kind of sucks. It's almost like you just become food and shelter at that point. So it really bothers me. Like it actually hurts my feelings. Like it really does. Like I try not to let it because I know it's their ages and stuff, and everyone's like, "Oh, they'll come back around, they'll come back around." But it really does hurt my feelings. Like I'm like, this kid used to, you look back at they used to treat you like they used to like you were God, you know? Anyway, so it just all right. I played guitar on stage in front of thousands of people. My kids could not care less. Even when a concert is done, they do not care one bit. It's humbling and awesome. All right, Ralph, you're a celebrity now. No, that's not true. Parents make you feel embarrassed till you get older. My son turns 13 today. Oh, tell him I said happy birthday, Renee. That's awesome. How to Bachelor. July 17th is my B day for every January 17th is half. Gotcha, How to Bachelor. Thank you for the super chat. Peter Giffen says, yes, me, all my kids, friends all think I'm so cool. My YouTube channel drumming, but my kids, nope. See, that's crazy. That's weird, right? Like you'd almost think they'd be like, because you know how kids are so influenced by their friends. Just accept it, Ralph. Your time has come and gone. All right, Jamie says, just accept it. Your time has come and gone. That's so sad, man. It makes me so sad. All right, so this family comes to the storage unit and they're really cool. So I got to meet the kids and they were like really shy. But I got to meet them. They're really, really nice. But the thing is, so we went into the storage room, we're packing stuff up. And um, while his dad is taking some of the cabinets out, he's like, hey, can I ask you it's so funny because he wouldn't call me Ralph. He's like, can I ask you a couple questions, Retro Ralph? And that's funny because like he can call me Ralph, not Retro Ralph. So anyways, it was funny, but really, really sweet kid. And he's like, how do I like mod these? Like, cause his whole thing was some of those cabinets worked and some of them didn't work. Like some of them needed to be, completed the mod, or maybe I took parts out of it. And it was interesting to me because he's like, yeah, I know I need to download some software, 7-zip, because he knew he needed to unzip whatever he downloaded, the image he downloaded, but he didn't know that he needed to like where to get the images. Now, and he also didn't realize that while you can build your own RetroPie, software from scratch, you can download the base image and then sort of like load what you want. You can load like a vanilla RetroPie. He didn't realize that, which actually he probably would have learned more that way, but I kind of helped him expedite the process by saying, hey, you go here. And then his mom came and I'm like, hey mom, I just want you to know there's a little bit of a gray area what I'm about to tell your son. So because I was like skittish to tell him where to get stuff. I'm like, look, I'm going to tell you where. And it's funny because the kid's like, oh my gosh. He's like, yeah. Tell me, like, give me the goods, right? So I start telling him the website so he can go to get images. And he looks at his mom. He's like, "Mom, you're putting that in your phone, right? Like you're putting it. I know he probably had his phone in the car or something." He's like, "You're documenting this, right? Like you're putting it in." He's like, "This is good stuff." So I was telling him about that. I was telling him about the VS display board and all these things that he's gonna need. And the funny thing is he was wicked into it. And then his brother came around, and his brother was like, I don't know their ages exactly, but they're probably around the Tanner's age. But the brother was like super into it too. And the crazy thing is so I asked him, I said, where are you guys going to put all these? And he's like, oh, we got that figured out. And I'm like, oh, what do you mean? He's like, well, we have like a best case scenario and like a worst case scenario. This was like, I'm making, he wasn't saying it exactly like this. And I'm just trying to play it up a bit, but and then his dad comes around. He's like, oh, yeah, they got this. They like mapped out and measured. So they measured each cabinet. Like they basically took the measurements of a riser and then how far out everything comes. And they figured out that worst case scenario is that they would take they have 2 separate rooms at their house that they would live in. They would move their beds into one room and they could fit all the cabinet. If this was worst case, they could fit everything in there. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so crazy that these kids had like thought all this up to measure their room to figure out how they could maximize like arcade space. Like they're kids, they're not like, it's not like they grew up with arcades, but they were super into it. And the thing I loved about it is that they were really into this idea that they could modify something. I was like really excited about that. And the other thing that it made me realize is that sometimes in the hobby, I think and I'm not talking about just arcade one, I'm just arcades in general. In the hobby, there's a lot of people that enter hobbies at different stages. And I think sometimes because we're all like techie and geeky and nerdy, we just think everyone else should know what we know, right? And I'm surprised every day about how many people are new that don't know. Like they bought their first DIY kit or they bought their first arcade. Hope they properly waterproof them. Thank for the super chat, Stringer. But it's just interesting where these people and it got me thinking. And I talked to Justin about this. I'm like, there's so many people that are brand new to a hobby every day that don't really know anything about what they're getting themselves into, which is crazy because sometimes we're like, oh my gosh, how come so and so company won't do something? And it's like I started to think maybe we're all kind of like we're so obsessed with arcades and pinball machines and all this stuff. Like maybe we're really the minority, and the majority is really just I want to buy something for my man cave or my game room or whatever, my she shed. Sorry, Natalie's gonna get offended about she shed. Natalie's like, dude, I'm never getting a she shed. A she shed seems kind of lame, but anyways. Wasn't that like in a State Farm commercial or something? The guy's like pretending to be upset about the she shed burning. I don't know. So, anyway, what I'm trying to say here is that there's people that are entering hobbies all the time that you wouldn't realize don't know about certain things. And so, did you burn down my she shed? My she garage? So it's just kind of interesting because I think we're really the minority when it comes to a lot of these products, where the people that are buying them, not so much the DIY kits. The DIY stuff's been around forever, and I think people that are into arcades have bought those. But I think someone coming in brand new, they're like, what do I buy? And you're like, do I buy an arcade one-up that I can just turn on the switch and start playing? Do I buy gotta go to a dentist appointment? I'll catch the rest of the show later. Have a good one. Take care, Natalie. So, do you buy you want something that just has a bunch of games on it? You could turn it on like an ad games. Like these are all easy to use products for the most part. But then there's like that other element of the hobby that I think you eventually get to sometimes. Like these products lead to those other products. And these kids were super excited. And I'm just curious like where the hobby will lead them, because they were really into it. But I told them I exchanged phone numbers with the dad, and I was like, dude, if they have questions and stuff along the way, like let me know. I'll totally help them out. Because I know sometimes he's like, I've been Google searching for, days now, and he didn't know about certain things. Like he was, he asked me where he gets games, and I was like, all right. That's when I looked at the mom. I'm like, look, mom, this is a gray area, but I'll tell you, we're not being recorded, right? I'll tell you. And I told her, and she's like, okay, cool. I got it. Like we got the information. So I'm curious to like check in with them at some point and see how he's coming along. But the cabinet he was most excited for, and I can't believe I got rid of this one because it was one of my favorite ones I ever did. And it had unique graphics. It was literally like super unique artwork, because there's only been one of them ever done. And it was by this guy in Canada. He was so awesome. And I've told this story before. I don't know. Your friend is here? Oh, is he here? Hey Gage, what's up, dude? Nice. Yeah, that's him. So, and I don't remember your brother's name though, because I don't remember. Maybe he didn't even tell me. I don't remember. But we have a picture together. It's pretty cool. But yeah, I'm curious. Like my Sega Genesis cabinet was the one I was most excited about, and that's the one I got rid of that one, but I have to. Like I have to let stuff go. I think that's the hardest part, is like, because he'll probably have that same experience. He'll probably mod a bunch of cabinets. He'll get really good at it. And then maybe there are certain people where the mod becomes the hobby and the game isn't the hobby anymore. I'm kind of sitting there. I'm there too, right? Like I picked up, you guys didn't notice. There's a new cabinet here. No one noticed that. I'm surprised. You guys are usually pretty yeah, but say hello to Gage. Really cool kid. There's this Neo Geo cabinet right here. So like the hobby, I think like just depends. I personally think a lot of people, if you're techie and geeky and nerdy, the hobby will, and you like gaming, the hobby will most likely lead you to something else, right? Like it'll lead you to some other direction. Not everyone can fit full size cabinets, but there's something weird about there's something very mysterious about full size cabinets. Like I'll tell you guys I'm going to make a video about this, but I'll tell you guys, I got those 2 cabinets at auction. I don't know. Did I tell you guys this? I think I did. I won a Cruising Exotica at auction for $200, and I got a Neo Geo MVS. Sorry, I keep saying MVSX because of the MVSX, but then a Neo Geo MVS 2-slot. Well, it's supposed to be a 4-slot, but it only has a 2-slot PCB in it. So I got those for really good deals. But the other thing about the hobby that can be interesting is you buy these arcades at auction, you could potentially have problems with them. Now, Justin and I are going to talk a little bit more about this on the next One Up Weekly, where we cover auctions. Hey, Michael B, the Game Genie, says, I'm still so overwhelmed by the concept of modding a cabinet. I don't know if it's for me. Sometimes it's not. I mean, there's you can break stuff. I told Gage's mom, I was like, they're such a cool family. I can't like stress that enough. They were all like super cool. But and the mom was like, I'll tell you a quick story. So the mom, Gage's mom, came into I don't think Gage came this time. No, he didn't come. He didn't come this time. It was the first time they came, and they bought the don't be like Ralph and buy crappy pinball stuff. So Gage's mom came to the first time with his dad to buy this House of the Dead cabinet. I ended up selling that. And the funny thing is, his dad couldn't get his mom out of the storage unit. Like, I had it all set up and working, and she's so into House of the Dead. Like, he had to basically like pry her out of the storage unit and be like, hey, it's getting late. Like, we got to go home. And I think the kids were at home. So they're like, hey, we got to go. Like, come on. She wouldn't stop playing. It was awesome. Hey, Double D Guitar. How you doing, bud? So Stringer Film says modding leads to basement demolition. That is very true. Stringer is basically demolishing his whole basement. So let me tell you about yeah, your mom was going crazy on House of the Dead, and your dad had to drag her out of there. It was actually really awesome because I guess like she was super into House of the Dead back in the day, and she basically like ripped I only had one gun like working at the time when she came in. The batteries needed to be replaced, I think. Or no, not the batteries. Sorry, there's no battery. Oh yeah, there was. There's batteries in the little whatever nunchuck things on the Wii. And so I was replacing the batteries, and she's just like, whoosh, and she was like blasting zombies and all sorts of stuff. It was awesome. It was really cool, actually. So anyways, where am I going with this? So you do the modding. Michael B brings up a really good point. Like, modifying anything can be scary because you can break it. And I broke lots of stuff when I first started DIY stuff with like, I think my first actual arcade cabinet was a Galaga, but my first time like building my own, I think it was, I can't remember which DIY company it was. Dream Arcades, I think. Dream Arcades, I think, was the first. Michael B, I'll get back to your discharge the chassis thing. Dream Arcades, I don't think they even still exist anymore, but they had a DIY kit, and I bought their DIY kit. And it was my first time like building an actual, arcade system. And this was when like MAME wasn't new, but MAME would have been, not as mature as it is now. And I learned Hyperspin, which like, I'll tell you, this is really funny. So I had this job. I'll tell you, this is something that I can tell you. This is a story I can tell you. So I wasn't in between jobs. I had a job that I completely like, all the leadership changed at the company. Like all of the management changed at the company. I was pretty young. I was like, I don't know. I was probably whatever age I was, but it was weird. My role at the company had almost become like, it wasn't eliminated, but it was like devalued or something by the leadership. So like, I didn't have any meetings, like no one was taking me anywhere. And it was weird. I was like, I just ended up basically working on my Hyperspin build for like, I don't know, like at least a couple months. It was like a weird, like I was trying to find a new job. I don't recommend you do this nowadays, but I was a kid. I was stupid. So I was like, I had a pretty good tech job, and I was dumb. And I'm like, hey, look, I don't really have anything going on. Like, I don't know, these guys don't even want to take me on calls for whatever. They don't even know I exist. I like ended up as like Milton in the basement with the red stapler. I think it's Milton. I think that's his name. But I basically taught myself Hyperspin for 2 months at my job, maybe a month. I don't know how long it was. And Hyperspin sucks. Like to set up, it sucks. But I learned so much about it. It's beautiful. Like it looks great and it does some really amazing things, but dude, it's a nightmare to learn. And that was my first build. And I still have that build actually somewhere. It's on a drive and it still does load under Windows 10. So, because I think I built it on like Windows XP or must have been XP, I think. Yeah. So, anyways, you just break stuff, man. I mean, stuff is gonna break, and it's a bummer. But I gave them a bunch of artwork too, and I was telling Gage's mom, I was like, this is gonna be like he's not gonna have fun the first time he puts artwork on. I go because it's like artwork can vary, right, depending on the paper quality. But some of the stuff I gave him had good paper quality, and some didn't. But they liked the artwork, so I gave that to them too. And I was like, this putting on artwork is not going to be fun the first time. Like, it's not going to be fun. And yeah, so anyways, so it's just fun. It was really cool. That's a long story, but it was really cool to see kids being into retro games. You know, I don't see that often, but I think that's really cool. And I'm sure I didn't ask him if he's into modern games too. Is the coffee working this drought? I haven't really drank much of my coffee. I got to start pounding this stuff. So have you guys I've never really asked this question. Has everybody here been doing this for a long time, or was like Arcade 1-Up and this whole new wave of these 3/4 scales? Is that what sparked your interest in it? I'm just wondering from everybody's perspective, because I've been doing this for a while now, but you know, it was weird. I had dormant periods where I didn't have since 1996, just 1 year. Yeah. So I'll tell you guys, I fell out of the hobby after I moved from California to Arizona because I just needed to get rid of stuff. Again, it was like one of those purge things where I had to get rid of stuff. And then when I got divorced, it's funny, I got divorced and the first thing I bought before I bought a couch is I bought a golden tee for my apartment. Stringer Film says, I blame you 100%. Let's see. Got into MAME early 2000. That's about me too. I've been in the arcade hobby since 2008 and own 50 machines. Wow, Steve owns 50 machines. That's a lot. That's a lot more than me. A little bit, maybe 2 years. Loved arcades for years, but only with Arcade 1-Up did it become affordable. True, that's very true. Like it's very true. Arcade 1-Up inspired me. It just seemed never possible before. I know, that's the thing. Like Arcade 1-Up really did do that for a lot of people. I built a cab with a modded original Xbox a long time ago. I no longer have it. Was it a quasi-cade? Got a Pandora's Box fight stick a year before Arcade 1-Up came around. That's what got me started. Yeah, Pandora's Box got a lot of people into it too. My brother-in-law made his own arcade cabinet out of wood in his garage, put a pie inside. I was loving that. I started wanting to play my old school Nintendo, but updated. I don't know what he said there. Well, so you guys are blowing the chat up, so I can't even see. Between you, Cool Toy, and Dubs, I have spent a small fortune. Yeah. I mean, hey, here's one thing. For Antisocial Hero brought that comment up. I showcase a lot of stuff. I do not, by all means, I do not think just because I put it on the channel, like everyone, don't like, just because I show it on the channel doesn't mean it's like something you should go out and buy a lot of times. Like that racing cabinet, I knew that people's opinion of that was going to be it's too expensive, but I was like, I keep seeing this company pop up. I got to see what this is. And I want to tell you guys. So the racing cabinet, you guys probably saw the video. Yes, and Mike Lebinsky brings up a good point. He says, don't buy things after 1 a.m. A lot of my purchases happen after 1 a.m. It's a bad idea. Don't do that. So no, I don't want people to go into. I hope you're joking about financial downfalls. People are saying like they don't have money and stuff. Don't. The hobby gets addicting, but you gotta resist the temptation sometimes. So that I keep pointing the wrong way. That racer. All right, I knew that racer was definitely a product from China. Like because I've had these brand new arcade reproductions from China before. Everything about it was all the same, and I'm gonna do the part 2. I'm gonna try to film it tonight maybe. But I want to show the wiring is like awesome. So basically what they do is in China, they don't care about copyrights. They don't care about IP. They don't care about any of that in China. They don't care. These companies in Shenzhen will build these cabinets. They'll put TMNT graphics. They'll put Simpsons graphics, all non-licensed. They just don't care. They really don't. And they're not held to any, they're not they don't have to care there. So anyways, now when those products reach the US, that's a whole different subject, but no one's really like going after these companies. So there's various manufacturers that sell this very same thing. So I went onto Alibaba, found those manufacturers, and started messaging with them because not on AliExpress, but Alibaba, you can do price quotes. So you can go out to Alibaba and say, hey, I'm really interested in this particular arcade cabinet. And they sell that both in a stand up and a sit down. So I went, hey, because the pricing will vary. So basically, the company like Prime Arcades is buying those systems in bulk and then reselling them. So the more they buy, the better price they get. So for me, my price as an individual buying one of these, the price they charged me for one of them, considering I paid $1,900 for it around, mine would be $990. Now, so I did message them. I said, okay, $990 for the unit. They said, yes. Now keep in mind, the thing that really bummed me out is the games list on the one that I would have gotten if I got this one that I got a quote for was way better than the games list on this one. So they've updated the board, but they don't sell the board by itself. So I don't think so. I'm going to ask them. Hey, could I just get the board? Because I'd be really curious to see that. So long story short, I asked them for a shipping quote. I've bought from Alibaba before, so I feel I believe it or not, if you go with the manufacturers that have good rapports, or not good rapports, that doesn't make sense, good ratings, you'll actually be fine. I've done it a couple times. So the shipping is $300. So now we're talking like $1,200-$1,300. It's a $700 savings. So keep in mind that guy's business, Prime Arcades' business, is really buying cabinets from China, probably in bulk. He probably buys 10 at a time. I don't know how many he buys. They might fill up a whole shipping container full of them for all I know, right? To get the cost down and then sell them off as they can, right? They'll buy so much inventory. Probably they look at what's popular and they buy those things and then they just resell them. But the thing is, so that company in China has the ability, and there's many of them that sell that same unit. They all rip each other off, which is so crazy. So it's like funny. They rip off IP that so they rip off IP and then someone else rips their ripped off IP off. It's like a 2X rip off. I don't know. Never mind. That doesn't make sense. But you guys know what I'm saying. So long story short on this is that you can get one directly from China, and all Prime Arcades is doing, literally, like, I'm convinced that all of they're doing is they're sending their graphics files to the factory in China and saying, hey, put Prime Arcades on the side, put Prime Arcades on the marquee, and then print a little sticker on the inside and you open it up, it says Prime Arcades. That's all it is. They probably don't even open it. It probably goes from China in the crate to California. They pick them up and that's it. They rip off the rip off. It's like the Trace Buster. You guys remember that movie with Mark Wahlberg? What movie is that where the guy's like, he's talking, it's like Emilio. No, it's not Emilio Estevez. I can't remember, but there's a scene and I love the scene. He's like, he's going in showing him how he's going to bust the trace from the guy that's tracing, I don't know, whatever. Yeah, the big hit. I love that scene where he's like, this is the Trace Buster to bust the mofo who's busting your ass. It's really funny. Oh my gosh, I love those movies. That movie probably sucks now, but I loved it. Was it Emilio? So I will say this. So Deputy Van Halen says, does Prime Arcades offer any warranty of any kind? So here's the thing. They do support the cabinet to a degree. So it's not like Prime Arcades is like just a bunch of morons. I've talked to them over there. They're actually very, very nice, very, very helpful. But I don't think they do a lot. Like their operation is very minimal because what they really do is they acquire the game. And I think everything's all skinned and then it gets shipped out. And that's kind of it. So they do have to support it to some degree. I didn't check on warranty though. That's a really good question. We could look right now. Hey, let's look right now really quick because I got to wrap up a little early this morning, unfortunately, but I'm glad we got to have this conversation. I didn't know we'd go this direction today. So it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun that these shows become like whatever the heck you guys kind of lead it towards. And sometimes I just go off on tangents. So I'm looking right now just to see. I don't see any kind of like, there's a terms and conditions page. I don't really see a whole lot of warranty information. Yeah. I don't know. You guys can go look, but I don't see anything that shows any kind of warranty. They don't even really mention it. I'm sure they would support it to some degree if that something went wrong with it, but I don't see anything that would sort of imply there's a warranty that comes along with it. But I'm sure there's got to be something. Yeah, I don't see refunds will be issued 7 to 10 business days after receiving the returned product. So there is a way to return. It says returns and exchanges are permitted on products within 7 days of delivery. So it looks like you can return something and they show you how to RMA it and stuff like that. But keep in mind, shipping is, that gets shipped to you. So yeah, I don't know. It does look like there's that. All right, Ben Tall, did you see the new Marvel trailer has a Polybius in the background? I didn't. That's awesome though. That's cool. Thanks for the super chat, Ben. I didn't see that. I'll have to check that out. All right, Deputy Van Halen. That's what I wondered. I didn't see anything on their site either. Yeah, I'd be really surprised if they do any kind of warranty. All right, Lewis says, "Hey Ralph, when are you going to do another gaming stream? Those are always fun." Actually, I'm thinking about doing one soon. I don't know. This week is interesting because I don't really have a bunch of extra time, and I was kind of thinking if I didn't do a video, if I didn't do part 2 of the racer, I would do that. But I also was thinking about doing coverage of those 2 machines I just got. So does throwing at game stuff in the pool void the warranty? I'm guessing yes, it probably does. So don't do that. Don't do that. By the way, I want to let guys know something. I recommended, someone actually asked me, should I get the Atari Fight Stick that you showed on the channel, or should I get the At Games Legends Gamer and the Gamer Pro? And guess what I told them? Come on, guess. What'd I tell him? I did. Trackstar Racing _performance. No, I didn't tell him the Atari. I actually told him get the Legends Gamer Pro. I think people that are looking for something that's a fight stick, Stringer Film super chat, thanks for none of the above. Ralph, when will you be modding your Outrun cab? I don't think I'm gonna, guys. I think the Outrun cab was more of a. I'll be quite transparent with you on the Outrun cabinet. Hasso said Pandora's box. No, I actually told him to get the Legends Gamer because he wanted he wanted to be able to turn it on, play retro games, and I just feel like those are kind of already on that. And yeah, Outrun is one of those things where I bought it to check it out, right? It's Justin and I talked about it on Sunday. That was hey, let's see how Arcade 1-Up implements a driving cabinet. And I think, I played it for a while, and I'd say, besides it being shrunken, it just looked really strange in the room with all the other stuff. Plus I put it in a room with full-size arcade, so it didn't really look right. Man, I'm all gassy. But yeah, the emulation was good on the software because Code Mystics did it, so that was no surprise there. The pedals, were cheaper plastic, but they never broke while I was using it. And I keep in mind, I used it pretty straight. I've used it almost every day since I got it, so it didn't didn't break on me or anything like that. But I can't predict the future and say that those pedals are going to stand the test of time because no one really knows that. But they were working fine. I mean, unless I was romper stompering on them, gosh. I don't think they, if you were really rough with it, I think you probably could break it just like anything else. But, outside of it being kind of thinner plastic, I think it probably would last if you took care of it. The wheel was surprisingly way better than I thought. And the shifter, although plastic, you kind of just go high and low for Outrun. So I don't think it would break unless you were really being rough with it. So yeah, I mean, the Outrun cabinet just isn't for me. It's too small, but it was fun. I had a lot of fun with it. And Justin legitimately can vouch for the fact that he was calling me when I was hearing Outrun in the background all the time because I was like, this is kind of cool. So they did an okay job implementing it, that's for sure. So Lewis asks what the Easter egg is. So they're kind of dragging their feet on the Easter egg, guys. I feel like because they're waiting so long, it's going to be less exciting because they're waiting forever to do it. They have to do something. They have to do something and then everyone can gain access to the Easter egg. It's just taking forever. I don't know why they're taking so long. But the Easter egg is nothing you can discover on the cabinet. I probably should have been more clear about that. Like, it was funny because I said it on the show, and then it kind of like became, Justin and I talked about the Easter egg because John had said there's going to be an Easter egg, and then all of a sudden everyone's looking for it, but really there's nothing to find. The Easter egg isn't there right now. So I guess that's not really an Easter egg if someone else has to provide you something. An Easter egg is usually like something that you do on a menu that would, expose some new feature or a new level in a game or something like that. Yeah, Deputy Van Halen says he wishes the seated outrun was larger. I will give him this. Here's the thing that we forget, I think, because we're in the hobby all the time. Like I look at some of the construction and build quality of a full-size arcade, right? It's amazing. Like they did amazing things with the technology back then. But the fact that you can, like, I don't know, I think if you haven't seen in recent days like old school arcade stuff, and I know emulation's been around for a while, but for someone to say like, go look at like a real Outrun PCB, it's this huge thing, right? The fact that they could take that and multiple other games with huge PCBs, Code Mystics can actually develop something that works pretty much like the original as far as like the gameplay all is about the same outside of some sprites that they had to swap out, some palette swap things like that. Like it is pretty amazing, but I think we've gotten so accustomed to just like they roll out cabinets and they do a good job. Like they do a good job at, put it this way, Code Mystics did a good job on the emulation, but it's more than that because it's now a bench that you sit on. And does the bench feel comfortable? Like there's so many aspects of it that you can pick apart. But the one aspect that 100% I would always say all day, if someone said, is it fun? It's totally fun. Like might it hurt your back long term? Yep. But is it fun? Hell yeah, it's fun. Like it's totally fun. So speaking of, Lewis, you said one thing, and I got to wrap up soon. He said, can you connect the two cabinets? So check this out. So the racing cabinet I just got allows you to link it to another one of Prime Arcade's racing cabinets. I looked into it, and because Daytona is using that Model 2 emulator, I'm going to test it with a laptop first. I want to do it for the video, but I don't know if I'm going to have time. I want to prove that I can link another cabinet to this that is a non-Prime Arcades cabinet, because all it is it's using an emulator. So as long as you know how to set up the emulator for linking cabinets, it should work. It's weird though, because the original cabinets used like old school networking technology. It used like Token Ring. So they have like a Token Ring emulator in the software. Token Ring's like old school networking. It's like totally old school. So anyway, but there's a section in there where you identify the machine name, like Cabinet Racer 1, Racer 2, you give it its IP address. And if your file is defined the right way and it's on a local area network, it will run. So I'm kind of excited about, did you purposely misspell your video title? Oh crap, did I? Definitely didn't purposely do it, but you know how that goes, man. Ralph, you need to mod the Outrun with real wheels on it and take it outside. Dude, if I had the time, trust me, you guys have no idea the crazy thoughts that go through my head. If I had time, if I didn't have a job and YouTube was my job, I would do the craziest stuff. Like I just can't afford to do it and don't have the time to do it. I would do crazy things. It would not be, I could see myself turning it into like a go-kart and driving it down the street for the intro of a movie. I mean, the intro of a video, like making an electric, somehow mounting like my son's hoverboard to the back and like putting a single wheel on the front, being like, wee, wee, wee. Yeah, we're doing an Outrun, baby. Like I can so picture myself doing that. I would, and that'd be awesome. All right, I'm going to tell you about one more thing, and then I actually have to go because I have to wrap it up. So there was a video that I created a thumbnail for it, and I was going to do it. And I had all the idea mapped out. The problem was it was going to be really complex to do this intro because I needed a busier street that I could get away with doing this. So you guys know the George scene from Seinfeld, right? Where he goes to buy the Frogger machine. Jerry tells him, you guys know the scene, right? Jerry tells him basically that if it powers down, it loses the high scores. And he's like, crap, how am I going to do this? They hire the shady guy to come and wire it all up. You guys know the story, right? And then when he's going across the street, there's an aerial camera and it's looking down on him and he's doing, it's got the Frogger noises. You guys know that scene, right? If you haven't seen that scene, go to YouTube and look up Seinfeld Frogger, because it is like an awesome episode, because George's face when he realizes that the Frogger won't keep the high score, he's like, oh, what? He's like, I can't believe it. So I had plans to find a street that I could do this on. I was going to buy the Frogger cabinet just for this intro. No other purpose, because I don't really want the Frogger cabinet, although I like Frogger. I have a drone. I've used drones in some videos before. I used it in my Marvel superheroes. So I was going to launch the drone up above the busy street. I was going to put the Frogger on casters, and I was going to do the whole like thing. Like I was going to do the whole like Frogger scene. I was going to recreate it. Now, the only part I didn't have is how would I smash the cabinet? Like I was like, okay, cool. I'm buying this. Like I got to do the review first, because I don't want to smash the cabinet. And I was willing to smash the cabinet to have the authenticity of the video, but I couldn't bring myself to do it for a couple reasons. I wouldn't be able to find a street. Like, that's why I wish that I did this full time, because I would do crazy things. Like I would go rent studios and do nuts stuff. I just don't have the resources to do it, but I would totally do crazy things. I mean, Justin and I, when we were at CES, we're trying to rent a DeLorean, because we thought that when we were at CES, Justin and I were on the phone with the DeLorean dude. We were going to rent a DeLorean. We've talked about this before. And all that. We didn't end up, well, the funny thing is the guy, Justin and I were so funny. We had just met each other. I'm like, dude, I'm on the phone with the DeLorean guy. We're getting to CES, and he's like, dude, tell me what's up. So I left the guy a message. He didn't call back till we were in front of the Arcade 1-Up booth. So we're in the Arcade 1-Up booth, and Justin sees my face like kind of progressively looking like less excited. And he's like, dude, like, what's up? Like, are we going to get the DeLorean? Like, are we going to go get it? And I'm going to get it. And I hung up the thing, and he's like, what? You look bummed out. I'm like, dude, you can't drive. Like, he has to follow you. He's like, what? Yeah, I was like, we can't just take it. Like, he has to follow us. Like, we can film in parking lots. And Justin was like, oh, this is ridiculous. Like, we're going to rent a DeLorean, and we can't even like use the DeLorean, because him and I had all this ideas. We were going to like cruise up to CES, and like we had all these awesome ideas, and we couldn't do it. But anyways, because I was like, man, we were going to take it out to like some place in the desert and film a bunch of scenes. We were so excited, but we didn't get to do it. You could have smashed a parts cabinet from your locker and decorate like, yeah, see? Michael B., you're so much smarter than me, because I would have smashed the Frogger cabinet, but then I would have been like, there probably was a better way to do this. That's so funny that I would have like not thought of that. Seriously, I wouldn't have. I would have smashed the cabinet, and then I would have been like, why'd I smash the cabinet? This sucks. Oh my gosh. All right, Sega Saturn. Love the Sega Saturn. Thank you for the super chat. I said, I got five for the Frogger project. Thanks, buddy. I don't know if that's ever going to happen. I would hope so. It'd be really cool too. But yeah, lately it's been more of a time management thing, and it's just hard, and money. It costs a lot of money to do stuff. But all right, I got to wrap up soon. So we got a couple more minutes. Let me just make sure I don't have any work calls. Ralph, you and Justin will be able to pool your money before long and then buy an actual DeLorean. Lewis, I would love to say that that's true, but probably not. Oh, crap. All right, I have a call in 8 minutes, and I can't look like this. I have to look like I'm a presentable, person in a business. So I gotta, in a business? What am I talking about? By the way, if you guys haven't checked it out, and I'm not sponsored by them, but I like this Jack Link's Wild Heat beef jerky. It's extra hot. So I'll tell you guys a little something before I go. This is the last thing. So I'll put the final thoughts music on, because there's something that Kim and I were thinking about doing, and I want you guys to give me a 1 if you think it's a stupid idea or not. Okay. Wait, hold on. 1 if you think it's a good idea, 2 if you think it's a stupid idea. So Kim and I are really into hot sauces, and lately she's actually been able to, like, I don't know what's happened. You know how people say your taste buds change every 7 years? I don't know what that's even true, but all of a sudden I used to be able to tolerate really hot things, and all of a sudden I can't tolerate it like I used to. So Kim and I thought of doing like a special episode where we live stream us doing like a hot sauce challenge. I don't know if we're going to do it or not. She seems really into doing it. So I just thought it'd be fun. So if you guys think we should do that, put a 1 in the chat. If you don't think so, put a 2. But I feel like it'd be fun for her and I to do. And she's she's like really into it. So we'll see. All right, everyone's saying 1. Cool. But this is like you guys are like, you know, really good to me, and you come and watch this every week, so I would expect you to all put 1. I need to like ask everyone that hates me what I should do. No, she's not pregnant. Oh my gosh, no. Whoa. That escalated. The Fist of Love says she's preggo or got COVID since her taste buds changed. No. No. Whoa. So Jeff Rainwater, I do have those ghost chips. All right. Antisocial Hero says your torture for my amusement. Yep, I'm okay with that. Hot Sauce then play a super difficult arcade game, House of the Dead bowel movements too. People do love seeing others in pain, don't they? They just do. It's funny. All right, I do have we're not going to do ghost pepper chips. So basically, there's a company called Fuego Box that does this. It's like a hot sauce challenge. They give you 11 hot sauces, and the last one is like an oil, and it's supposed to be super strong. We've seen a couple people do it, and I was like, I think we should do it. It'd be fun. But she will absolutely, make no mistake about it, she is going to kick my ass. We're going to get to like 7 or 8, and I'm going to be a big baby, and she's going to be rocking it. But we are going to live stream it. I have an idea. We're going to do it over there in the dining room, and I'm going to have the laptop set up so we can both see the chat and everything. So it should be fun. Okay, wow. Nick says his kids say 1 to the hot sauce challenge. You guys may not think the same about me after the hot sauce challenge. I'm just saying. I become a big wuss lately. I don't know what's going on. Justin's all big wuss lately. But anyways, all right. Always a big wuss. It's okay, guys. Own it. All right. I got to go, unfortunately, because I only have a couple minutes to get ready for this work call. But I do appreciate you guys joining, and I appreciate all the support. You guys are the best. Always the best. And I hope everyone has a great rest of the week. Hopefully, I'll have 1 video out this week. We'll see. And I will see you on the next one. Take care, guys.